Jai Mahamaya ki jai, Bole Baba ki jai. In our last discourse, we heard about the many incarnations of Sri Vishnu. And now we're going to go on to chapter 17. King Janamejaya said, O Muni, you told before that the heavenly damsels sent by Indra in the hermitage of Nara and Narayana became lustful and desired to live with Narayana only, whose heart was calm and quiet. At that moment when Narayana was about to curse them, his brother Nara desisted him from taking that step. Now I ask you, what did that triumphant Narayana Muni do in that critical juncture when he was repeatedly asked by those nymphs sent by Indra to satisfy their lust? O grandsire, I am very eager to know the deeds of Narayana, leading to one's freedom. Kindly describe in detail and fulfill my wishes. Vedavyasa said, O hero king, I am describing to you in detail what that high-souled son of Dharma did. When Narayana, Vishnu, was ready to curse them, the Rishi Nara, seeing this, consoled him and desisted him. Then the great sage, the ascetic son of Dharma, Narayana, leaving aside his anger, began to address them in sweet words with countenance smiling. O fair woman, we have determined to practice asceticism in this lifetime. It does not therefore behoove us to accept any wives. Therefore, show your kindness unto us and go back to your heaven. You would better think that those who know that is religion, they never desired to break the vow of another. O beautiful-eyed ones, in the sexual pleasure it is the delightful feeling of passionate joy that is requisite, and we are wanting in those feelings. Then how can we effect that union? No action can come out of no cause, this is all clear. The poets say that the sexual power and pleasure is the feeling, the mental attitude that corresponds, and that is the only thing that lasts. And we have no desire for that. However, my limbs are very graceful. I am very fortunate and blessed in this world. Otherwise, how can I be the object of your sincere love towards me? You all are very fortunate. Therefore, do now show this mercy unto me. Do not break my vow. I pray now that in a subsequent birth, I may become your husband. O large-eyed fair woman, in the 28th Dwarpa Yuga, I will certainly incarnate on earth to effect the purpose of the Devas. Then you all also will respectively incarnate as the daughters of kings and would also become my wives. Narayana thus consented to marry them in some other next birth, and consoling them, made them go back to their heavens. They also abandoned their mental disquietude, and on reaching back to the heavens, they explained everything to Indra. Indra heard from these heavenly women what the two rishis did and saw before him Urvasi and other women created by Narayana from his thigh, and began to extol the merits of the high-souled Narayana. Indra said, Oh, how wonderful is the patience of the Muni. What is the wonderful influence of his tapasya? Oh, he has created by sheer force of his tapas, Urvasi, and these other fair women, unrivaled for their beauties from his thighs. The Lord of the Devas thus extolled his merits and became freed from his anxieties. The virtuous Narayana, too, devoted himself to the practice of his tapasya. O king, thus I have described to you in detail all the wonderful accounts regarding Nara and Narayana. O superior in the descent of Bharata, these two, Nara and Narayana, afterwards incarnated themselves due to Brigu's curse as the two great heroes, Arjuna and Krishna, to relieve the burden to the earth. Janamejaya then said, O respect-giving Muni, now describe in detail the life of the avatar Krishna and dispel my mental doubt. O best of the Munis, why were Vasudeva and Devaki, who were chosen by the very powerful Vishnu and Ananta as their parents, doomed to so many miseries and afflictions? Why had these parents had to remain for good many years in the prison of Kamsa, who pleased directly by their tapasya, that Bhagavan Vishnu? Why did Krishna, taking his birth at Mathura, go to Gokula? Also, what was his object to go to Dvaravati, situated in the ocean, when he killed the enemy Kamsa? Also, why did his father, mother, and relatives leave their old holy places of residences and go abroad to live in a wretched old country? Why was the Yadu race destroyed by the curse from a Brahmana? How did Krishna finally leave his body after he relieved the burden of the earth and was about to enter into his heaven? The evildoers of the earth were slain by Krishna and Arjuna of unequaled powers. But how was it that those who plundered the wives of Sri Krishna were not at all punished by him? The great personages, Bhishma, Drona, Karma, the king, Valika, Virajata, Drishta, the king Somadatta, were destroyed to relieve the burden of the earth, and the plunderers were acquitted. Kindly explain the cause of this. How was it that those chaste and virtuous wives of Sri Vishnu got into trouble at the latter end of their lives? There has arisen a doubt in my mind on this point. Why did the virtuous Vasudeva leave his mortal coil owing to the death of his sons? And why did he die an unusual death? O best of Munis, the Pandavas were devoted to Krishna and they were religious. They had to suffer so many troubles. Why was Draupadi so very unfortunate? She had to suffer so many miseries and pains, who was born of Lakshmi, from amidst the sacrificial place and from the altar. Why did Dhirasana drag her by her hair in the hall of the audience, and why was it that Sindhu Raj, the king of Sindhu, gave her exceedingly mental troubles? Why was it that her 5 sons residing in her house were killed? What was the cause that the son of Subhadra had to die in the battlefield? Why did the king Kamsa kill the 6 sons of Devaki? And why was it that Sri Krishna, who was capable of averting the fate, did not prevent all of this? What a wonder is this, that in the matters of Brahmana's curse toward the Yadavas, their being killed, the total extermination of the Yada race, and the plundering of his wives, why did he allow fate to do these great momentous things? If he was the all-powerful God and he himself, Narayana, that why did he incessantly act like a slave toward Ugrasena? Ugrasena was the king of Mathura and the father of Kamsa. He was deposed by his son, but Krishna, after having slain Kamsa, restored Ugrasena to the throne. All these things bring such doubt into my mind regarding Narayana Muni that his deeds are always like those of ordinary persons. Why did his pleasures and pain resemble those of ordinary human beings? Were he God, why his actions were not so godly? Therefore dost thou describe in detail all the divine leelas, the playful sports done by Krishna of superhuman powers in this world. O best of Munis, when one's longevity expires, one dies. Then I cannot understand what glory was manifested by Krishna in killing of the demons, for fate killed them, not Krishna. Was not the doing of Krishna like a thief when he stole away the lady Rukmini and fled quickly to his place? What did it mean when he fled to Dwarka city and quitted his own highly prosperous town of Mathura simply out of the fear of Jarasandha? Did not anybody at that time recognize that he was Sri Bhagavan Vishnu, a respected one? Were he Bhagavan, why did he hide himself in Vraja? Please explain this cause to me, O Muni. These and many other doubts always exist in my mind. You are the best of the Munis and blessed. I pray, dost thou remove those doubts? O best of Munis, another doubt exists, is not dispelled, and that is secret. Was not the taking of the 5 husbands by Draupadi herself shameful and despised by the society? The good manners and doings are always considered by the learned as a proof of virtue. Why do those Pandavas, then capable in every respect, do this thing like brutes? And what did Bhishma do, living like a deva in this world? May I ask, was his act of producing 2 sons by a widow and then preserving his line of ancestors worthy of his name? The religious sanction advocated by the Munis, procreate sons in any way whatsoever, is simply shameful. Fie to this religion sanction. Here ends the 17th chapter in the 4th book of the Srimad Devi Bhagavatam of 18,000 verses by Maharishi Vedavyasa on the questions asked by Janamejaya. Bolo Shri Haryakandi Bhagwan Ki Jai, Jai Mahamaya Mahati Ki Jai, Mother Saraswati Mata Ki Jai.